welcome to another episode of the Media Man Them YouTube channel. It's Junior again, on my own this time though. Haven't done a solo episode in what feels like 400 years, but hey, I'm here now. And thank you for joining, clicking on the video, and hopefully you listened through to the end. My voice doesn't put you to sleep, although as I've said before, some people listen to certain content to do exactly that. If that works for you, then that's great. Let the video play all the way through to the end. We need those. Actually, no, let me not say that. YouTube might come for me with its insane AI. That's really gunning to become Skynet. But anyway, I shouldn't have said that. YouTube's definitely going to come after me now. Anyway, weird and long rambling intro out of the way. What are we here to talk about? Legend of Zelda. The film that's being developed. It's coming out in 2027. They've released some shots, promo shots, whatever you want to call, production shots. Very early kind of ideas of what the film will probably look like. I'm just here to kind of go over what I've seen and what I think of the whole film in general. First of all, I'm happy that they're making the film. I think back in the olden days, from like Ocarina of Time, when that game came out, and like Wind Waker and all that kind of stuff, a lot of Nintendo fans were like, it'd be really cool if they made a Legend of Zelda game into a film. So Ocarina of Time was always going to be kind of top of that list, as at the time it was still considered, and it still is considered by many, as the best Zelda game that's ever been made. I think Breath of the Wild finally kind of took that crown, but there's not a Zelda game that I've played that I haven't enjoyed, so that doesn't really say much in terms of what my opinion really means or how it weighs out. But initially, I always thought it would be good to make the Legend of Zelda film in animation, because as you know, I love animation, but I thought that it would have been a really good medium, specifically if they made like a Studio Ghibli production but a Legend of Zelda film. I thought that those two things, I feel like they just go together so well. I know a lot of people have done artwork kind of with that concept, and it's looked absolutely amazing, but that's not what's happening here. It's a live action film. But to be honest, based on the casting, I'm glad that they've taken the approach that they have so far, casting some relatively unknown actors to be the protagonist. So we have, I hope I don't butcher her name, Bo Bragason is playing Princess Zelda. I've never seen her before, so this may, if she's been in a lot, I'll try to see some stuff before I watch the film. And then Link is played by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, who I've also not seen any of his work, but I'll try to catch up on whatever it is that they've been in before I watch the film. But just from these shots, they both look the part. They've definitely, it appears to be drawing from multiple games in terms of inspiration for their costume designs. Her costume design looks a little bit closer to Zelda in Breath of the Wild, and I think that's a good idea. She's a lot more involved in the story in terms of her not just sitting in the castle being like, like Link, like save everybody in it. She's more like, no, I'm part of the machine, the gears that's making stuff happen, which is really nice to see. And his design looks a little bit of a cross between maybe one of the Ocarina of Time storyline type games, as well as a little bit Twilight Princess and a little bit Breath of the Wild as well. So I think that's a good idea. It also allows them to be able to draw from different Zelda games and being able to get more story ideas that way. Of course, they're going to likely use Ganondorf and or Ganon and those kinds of villains in the film. I think that would be really quite cool to bring those to life as well. If it's based in regular Hyrule, you'll probably get a lot of those other kind of groups that you often see, like the Zoras, which would be really cool. And I hope that the film can replicate the scale that you often feel in a lot of these Zelda games. The idea that you're in this massive place that's full of all these different kinds of ecosystems and different tribes and different races, and they're all co-inhabiting this place, but all of it feels very different. and being able to experience that through Link and Zelda's eyes will be quite nice. I'm hoping that in terms of storyline, they use a lot of the elements that they used between the relationship that Link and Zelda have in the Breath of the Wild game, because it was really nice. That was the first game that used voice actors for characters in the Zelda game. Link, of course, doesn't speak, but Zelda did, and a lot of the scenes that she's in, the voice actress who plays her, she really carried a lot of emotion in a lot of the scenes that just reading text can't carry in the same way. So that was a really nice introduction to being able to have that kind of experience with these characters. We've already known what they're like, but giving them a voice just adds that little bit more depth to what's happening, which is quite nice. I highly doubt Link will be a mute in this film, because now he has a chance to speak, and it's not like in the video game where I think Shigeru Miyamoto and Eiji Onuma both said the reason why he doesn't speak, or one of the reasons, they always seem to change it a little bit, but it was, you're the character, so you are basically experiencing the game through his eyes or through him. So for example, when you're interacting with a character and they're like, sometimes you see it in the game in like a cutscene where he's talking to someone and they're like, what happened? And then you'll see Link like make body language gestures like he's saying something. He clearly speaks, but we just don't hear him speak. Basically the idea would be that you as the player are the one who's speaking to these characters, so you're communicating with them, but Link is the conduit. He's the link, very much a pun intended, between the characters, the world that is any Legend of Zelda game, and the player themselves. So yeah, that was a very intelligent way of using that word and using it to be able to also create quite a cool way of bridging the gap between the player and the game. But that's different now with the film. He's a character who we're watching the film and he's also experiencing it too, so there's not a need for him to be our conduit now in the same way. He can also speak. He can speak of what's happening and how it's affecting him and things like that. So I think going with unknown actors and actresses is a good idea. It gives them a chance to be able to just relax. There's no massive pressure on their star power, but at the same time, if it goes well, it can really, really, really increase their star power and give them a good leg to stand on in terms of any future career projects they may want to go into. So what am I feeling about this film? I'm excited. I'm looking forward to a trailer whenever that may drop, seeing some more casting, seeing how they approach the storylines and all that kind of stuff. I think it will be quite cool. I'm looking forward to that. We haven't had a film that's like a fantasy film like this, and certainly not on this kind of scale for a while now, in Hollywood. So it will be quite cool to see. I think the director behind the Maze Runner films and the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Wes Ball, is the one directing it. So I've not seen any of those films, but I've heard good things from trusted sources. So hopefully he's able to carry over some of that creativity into the new film as well. So we shall see. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. I thought I'd try to not make it too long. It got a bit rambly, but hopefully you stuck with me. Are you looking forward to this film? Have you played any of the Legend of Zelda games? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think of the casting, where you think the film may go in terms of direction, what you would like to see, perhaps a wish list of sorts. Yeah, anything else that you might let your voice be heard or your keyboard taps be heard. I don't know. Let your thoughts be known is a better way of putting it in the comment section. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you on the next one.